Dear students, this is your professor VVR, and today we are going to deal about leadership styles. This topic on leadership style, which forms part of personality development, the paper personality development, is very important that we have divided the lectures into two modules. Actually, here I am going to deal with leadership styles, and in another lecture, I will deal about the remaining aspects pertaining to leadership. So, leadership is the broad topic wherein we have leadership styles, definition of leadership, which will be dealt here. And in the next lecture, I will deal about the theories on leadership. So, first of all, let us see what actually a leadership or a leader is defined as. A leader's role is to provide direction, implement the plans, and motivate people. These are the three important points that are required in a leader. So, basic points are providing direction to the people who are dependent on him or her, implementing plans which have been evolved over a period of time, and constantly motivating people when their morale is down. So these are the three important aspects of leadership. So now you may realize that a brother, an elder brother, may be a leader to a younger brother. A father is a natural leader to his family. Sometimes father's place is taken by the mother. So a person who is providing direction, implementing plans, and motivating people is a leader. And for some people, it comes in a natural way, and they are called the natural leaders. And for some people, they are made to compulsorily act in that particular role, and therefore they are not natural leaders. So these leaders, they evolved plans, and they lead the team into a particular direction and motivate people based on a philosophy. And also the personality of the leader, that also is a projection of his past living, also contributes for the evolving of leadership. So experience is very important, and therefore a leader has a philosophy, a strong personality, and internalizing trend of the previous experiences. So these are the basic ideas which can form definition of a leader. So from here, let us move on to the types of leaders. So the types of leaders are broadly categorized into autocratic or authoritarian. So you can say it autocratic or authoritarian. Both are parallel terms. Participative or democratic, similarly participative and democratic are treated as parallel terms. Laissez-faire or free reign, so vice versa, as said before. Task oriented and relationship oriented, so this is another kind of leadership. So apart from that, we have paternalism, which is an important component of leadership. Different situations call for different leadership styles. So take for instance, if a strike is about to happen in the college, so there will be an experienced person who will be a very great expert in negotiating with the students, and at that time that particular teacher will be called and given the responsibility, and he will try his best to bring the students into the right negotiation process, and he will try to solve the problem. But once after that problem is solved, his leadership role comes to an end, and he goes for his routine type of life, and his use will be again recalled when there is a similar situation emerging. But imagine if there is no person who has an expertise in dealing with students who are in a mode of striking against the management, then an inexperienced person will totally ruin the entire project, and there will be unrest and a situation of volatility that would emerge. As such, physical appearance is also very important for a leader, and his physical fitness, his confidence that is projected in his body language, and his resilience and his negotiating skills, as said already, are very important. So from here on, let us move towards the next subtopic uh, called autocratic or authoritarian. Under autocratic leadership, all decision making powers are centralized in the leader, and therefore we call this leader as a dictator. So he dictates them, whatever he decides, everyone has to follow, and nobody is allowed to give any criticism or comments on the way the system functions under the dictatorial leadership. Some theorists, they are of the opinion that autocratic leadership is very successful because there is no dissent coming from any side, and the effective functioning in one direction is perfectly made. Sometimes what happens in a democratic system is, whatever good things even the government if it does, people tend to mock at it and they defeat the purpose of the government. So democratic leadership needs a training from among the people. Generally, it is said that Indian people are not suitable for a democratic setup, and they are fit only for an autocratic type of leadership. Some of my friends who came from Germany, they are surprised to see that Adolf Hitler's autobiography Mein Kampf has been widely sold in India, and it is not as popular as in India and Germany. And therefore, some of the people, they have the idea that Subhash Chandra Bose is not dead, and he will come again, and he will take the rule, and he will rule the people in a dictatorial mode. That is the predominant opinion of many people, and their inclination, mind inclination is as such. So they prefer an autocratic type of rule, so that India could become a superpower at a very strong pace. Participative or democratic style of functioning is completely different from autocratic or authoritarian type of governance. Here, you should take into consideration the panchayat system that we follow in our country. So panchayat system is very strong as early as in the Chola period, at the least from the Chola period, because even in Sangam period we have some evidence for having conducted this panchayat system or local self-governance. So in the panchayat system, a problem is taken into consideration and it was put to discussion, and even the opinion of the opposite side is effectively given some recognition, and finally they come into a conclusion, and based on which they decide on issues. So that is very important. So for example, even Mahatma Gandhi, he had a kind of a participative democratic leadership, and therefore he was discussing with his lieutenants such as Nehru, C.R. Das and others every issue that gets the nation. So finally, it is not only Gandhi's opinion or decision that prevails, but it is the democratic decision that comes into force. Mahatma Gandhi in actuality wanted villages to take the center stage of Indian economy, but Mahatma Gandhi's word was not given due recognition, and Jawaharlal Nehru, he thought that Indian subcontinent should be science oriented, and he wanted universities to take place in guiding the people, and it has now proved to be worthless, and people are contemptuous of such a decision, and they are thinking of revitalizing or reintroducing new type of approach to education itself. Then let us see what is laissez-faire or free rein decision or free rein leadership means too. Herein, the central leadership is absent, and the central leadership, if at all it is present, it totally decentralizes the decision making mechanism, and the subordinates are given complete right and power to make decisions. So the central leadership cannot ask why you made such a decision and you have created such a problem. So not like that. So whatever in the local level that has been decided by the local authority there, that will provide. That is very important. During Balban's period, what happened was he appointed police officers in a region who are the natives of that particular period, and he believed that nothing unknown to them will happen in that place, and if something had happened, then that particular police authority who is in charge of that particular locality will be culpable. It was said that this system of Balban was very successful and law and order mechanism was effectively set in force. The central force is present here, but it constantly sees what in the local level happens, and therefore this kind of leadership is also said to be very effective while taking Balban's system into consideration. Nextly, it is task oriented leadership. So Indian democracy in the early period or in the period up to 1991 is called a task oriented leadership. So 5-year plans were introduced. So in 5-year plans they fixed some target, and according to the target they planned and moved their economy, and the people were expecting results based on the prefixed plans. In the beginning, there was the problem of poverty in the country, and there were huge famines, and the government wanted to solve this problem, and they wanted self-reliance as far as agriculture is concerned, and therefore they gave higher importance to agriculture. And based on this, they introduced the Green Revolution also. When they are about to introduce Green Revolution, they are moving from task orientation to relationship orientation, because they wanted to select a particular state and implement that particular project of Green Revolution there first. So Punjab was chosen, and huge dams were built across the state of Punjab, and agricultural production was increased in large scale in that state. But many economists, they want that this will create a kind of uneven growth and a disparity among various states, and therefore compromising various states which are seeing the growth of Punjab in the one hand, and poverty being rising in other states became problem of the central government to solve. The Center State Council was given life, and it tried to solve this problem at the highest level, and therefore still people call this type of Green Revolution is a failure in Indian context. And even the state of Punjab, it is trying to assume its independence because of the implementation of Green Revolution, by which it actually is said to have developed its economy. So let us see what is paternal type of leadership or paternalism means too. Paternalist leadership has a father figure and the center stage. So you have come across the word charismatic. So charismatic leaders will evolve. So as far as the Indian state is concerned, Tamil Nadu state is a suitable example for such a leadership, because Aringer Anna, Puratchi Thalaivar MGR and others, they are said to be charismatic leaders. No follower ever thought that he has something in common or equal with these leaders. They viewed these leaders above all, and they left them beyond their criticism and accepted their leadership. So I have placed various types of leadership in front of your observation, and it is not that this type of leadership is better or that type of leadership is worse, but what eminent scholars such as Pazhani Thurai and others, they are saying is Indian people have a good tradition of this panchayat system and it is effectively functioning. So this panchayat system at the local level is being neglected and thought to be less effective, but it is not correct. The bearing of this panchayat system, if at all it is taken to the democratic system, the system will function properly as far as these scholars suggestions point. But it is time, as already I have pointed in the lecture, which brings a particular type of leadership into force. With this, my lecture on leadership styles is over. Thank you very much.